Hey there, welcome back to Total Geek Baltimore Presents. I am Baltimore, and today I'm bringing you two storylines. The first one is Dream's End, and the second one is Eve of Destruction. And I'm bringing these two together, to kind of tell an overall story because it kind of sets the stage for Grant Morrison's new X-Men run, but it also kind of signifies like the end. I kind of think of it the end of the '90s, all that storyline that came from the Legacy Virus, Moira McTaggart, some of these classic stories. They're all kind of wrapped up within Dream's End and Eve of Destruction. So I kind of think they're kind of perfect to kind of play along with each other, to play off each other. Chris Claremont came back for the Revolution X-Men, which basically him coming back issue X-Men 100 and issue Uncanny X-Men, I think 381, which are basically his, wherever he was 100 issues ago, which I think is kind of fascinating to kind of think about that. His run wasn't as well received as I think it could have been. I think it should have been. They were also going up against, they didn't know the kind of success X-Men movie would have. And that people would actually want to see the X-Men that they see in the movies in the comics, which is kind of how Grant Morrison's run kind of benefited from more. They weren't in the spandex, the bright-colored spandex that the X-Men and the readers had been used to for years and years and years. But, we start with X-Men Dream's End, and that takes place Uncanny X-Men 388 through 390, X-Men 108 through 110, Cable 87, and Bishop 16. And this is really kind of it's a brutal storyline. We have the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants coming to attack Senator Kelly. We have them coming to attack Moira McTaggart, led by Mystique. And it's a brutal kind of attack. Because it's very vindictive and very vicious. And we have the X-Men facing off against the Brotherhood, which would be Post, Avalanche, Blob, Mastermind, Sabretooth, and Mystique. Of course, Sabretooth and Mystique are in Muir Island, and the rest of them are trying to fight and kill Senator Kelly, which harkens back to Days of Future Past, when the original new team of Brotherhood of Mutants, led by Mystique, tried to kill Senator Kelly. So they're coming back to do their job, finish their job, so to speak. But the caveat here is that, Pyro had been a victim of the Legacy Virus. He was living with the Legacy Virus, and he ends up there and basically uses the last of his powers, sacrifices himself to stop Post from killing Robert Kelly, Senator Kelly. And it's a really kind of poignant scene because he was part of the original Brotherhood that was trying to kill him, and now he's trying to, make up for his misdeeds by stopping that from happening. And then we travel over to Muir Island, and Sabretooth has put attack on Muir Island. Wolfsbane, who was there as she's the ward of Moira, so she was there to help her and protect her, and she's being pummeled and crushed by Sabretooth. Bishop arrives just in time to help save Wolfsbane and try and save Moira. Rogue gets there, and she and Mystique have some words. It's very, very harsh, and Mystique pulls out the mutant power neutralizer that was created by Forge way back in when he tried to use that gun on Rogue, but ended up using it on Storm. So she shoots this weapon, and it hits Wolfsbane, and now Wolfsbane is depowered, which has lasting effects. And it's really kind of hard to see a New Mutant character who went on to X Factor and then Excalibur be kind of taken out like this. So it's really brutal. But Moira is almost on death's door, and she is. It's brutal because Xavier is in the States, and he finds this out, and it's just brutal, kind of trying to get her to the States so that they can try and save her, but it's not possible. She dies, and dreams end. It's kind of really poignant, but we don't stop there. We have um, Colossus, in the ultimate sacrifice, decides to figure out how the legacy virus is being continued, and the only way for that to be released is for the person to take the cure and then kill themselves. And he decides his life is done. His sister Ileana was the first victim of the legacy virus, so it's only fitting for him to honor her by making sure that no other mutants die of it. And so the sacrifice happens, and it's poignant and sad, and you see him dead, and then you get this really great eulogy from Kitty Pryde. She's been missing for quite a while, and she writes Xavier a note. She takes his ashes and she says, "I'm done with the X-Men. Don't try to find me. I need to live my own life for a while. I need to be rid of everything." And this is something that she doesn't come back to the X-Men for quite some time. So that was really kind of a powerful moment there, where Kitty is memorializing those who she's lost. She's lost several best friends, and someone who she thought of as a lover, boyfriend, and so it's really, really sad. And then we have, basically following up that, almost immediately, actually immediately, is Eve of Destruction, and that's Uncanny X-Men 391 through 393, and X-Men 111 through 113. And this is basically a six-parter, kind of just like clearing the deck from Claremont's run and getting ready for what new X-Men is going to be with Grant Morrison. And Scott Lobdell is the writer for these issues, and it's basically Magneto has been in charge of Genosha for quite a while. He's their leader, and he is telling everyone, just get away, leave us be, and that doesn't sit well with Xavier or the X-Men. So at this point, the X-Men are kind of like left with only Wolverine, it's Jean, Beast, Cyclops has been found out, has been reborn, and they've gotten him back. But that's it. That's the only X-Men at the moment. So when they find out that Magneto's made this credo that he's taken Xavier, Jean Grey brings it upon herself to find a new team of X-Men. And it's actually really beautiful. I love it because they do homage the all-new, all-different team with the X-Men coming through it. So you have Jean Grey leading a team of Dazzler, which I love, Frenzy, Wraith, a guy named Omerta, and Sunfire, who is actually Shiro's, Sunfire's sister, who we've never known until this moment. So they're the all-new, all-different Eve of Destruction X-Men. And they go to confront Magneto and stop him from doing what he's going to do, and killing Xavier and destroying things again for everybody. And it's really kind of an interesting. Scott had 6 issues to tell a story that kind of set the stage for Grant Morrison, and kind of wrap things up from before. And he did it in a really interesting way. He kind of used new characters in a different way to kind of give, the idea that anything can happen, which I do appreciate very much so. And it was really kind of fun to see the whole story unfold. Jean Grey also did, a mind training session with all these X-Men to kind of get them to glue and connect to each other, and kind of be a good force to fight, because they're going up against Magneto. He's not going to go easy on them. So we get to see that happen. And at the same time, Wolverine and Cyclops are infiltrating Genosha covertly. And, it gets to be this big, nasty down fight where Magneto seemingly kills Dazzler. But what in reality happens is she's used her powers to kind of create a hologram and, save Xavier, which is like, way to go, Dazzler. And we see Northstar fighting him, and some pretty interesting comments from Magneto about the comparison between Quicksilver, his son, and Northstar and their speed abilities. This is a knockdown drag fight, and it ends with, and you're like, what? You're like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess, okay, Magneto's dead. All right. Um, so it's a really kind of fascinating, pretty easy to find this Eve of Destruction. You can also find Dream's End as well, pretty easily, and you can read them basically back to back because it is continual works, and then it sets you up for New X-Men and Extreme X-Men by Claremont, who was given his own title to kind of carry on his storyline. But it's really fascinating to kind of see these together, and I think um, the artwork actually was pretty good for both of them. So I definitely would check it out for that. But let me know what you think about these two, collected storylines, Eve of Destruction and Dream's End. What did you think about it? Were you kind of torn up with the deaths? Were you okay with it? Did you feel like, oh, it's not going to last? Let me know your thoughts about it. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, it's all geek to us.